Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with Shotzzy all but confirming the existence of OpTic Dallas, we also have another roster confirmation. One of the biggest community backlashes we have seen really in the history of the CDL. Very much intrigued to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really ups to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing it. It is free after all. More confirmations on the way. You don't want to miss the big red button. You guys know the drill. This firstly from Afro, Gizmo and Trey Zero, who are obviously going to be involved in the London team, and well, it's kind of hinting it's going to be Paris. It's not going to be Paris, baby. It's going to be London. Not really sure why they haven't quite confirmed as of yet, but Mutineers were baiting this on the timeline yesterday. Well, they weren't really baiting because they didn't actually go out and do their announcement, but our core legendary team will have a coach and multiple players, and I was kind of wondering whether this could be the day where they actually finally do confirm something. Indeed, it was the case. This from the Mutineers first of all, so this could obviously mean one of two things where Neptune was leaving. Is it going to be that New York are going to do an announcement? Is it going to be that Mutineers are going to confirm what their team is going to be? But yes, Neptune leaves the roster, an incredibly talented player. Definitely, I think, the shining star of that team last season. Skies was also very good as well throughout most of it, at least the latter end he was very good. Awakening is very good at the start, but Neptune, especially towards the end, definitely showed that he can be a very top tier caliber player for CDL future. Thank you for making your CDL introduction as a Mutineer. The Mutineers seem to do a great job, and I'm pretty sure like they're owned by the same ownership group as like Misfits and stuff. You can actually see it here on the right hand side, even though it might be not on your guys' screen quite about, but I'm pretty sure they do a similar thing in the esports they were involved in. A relatively decent job picking up young and up and coming talent, and then they sell them on for money to bigger organizations that have deeper pockets, I suppose, which of course is not really a recipe to win championships, especially if you're letting Neptune go. You probably want to get something pretty reasonable in return, which maybe a lot of money, but nothing else particularly to note. This of course, as Neptune says, just quickly to look at that first of all, the egg timer emoji right here. I'm pretty sure like if people maybe don't call this an egg timer in the US, maybe it's an hourglass or something, but anyway, Neptune tweets this out. I think it's like, I don't know, in the UK people call it an egg timer because you typically use it to like how long you boil your egg or something. I don't really know, but anyway, a bit of history lesson I suppose, if that's even true. But anyway, Neptune continues. After finishing my first rookie season with the Mutineers, it was a big learning experience in my career. I will be departing from the team. I'm very excited to announce what's next to me in my COD career. Good luck, Neptune, because of course we've seen a bit of back and forth between Awakening and Neptune lately. Seems like they're departing on relatively good terms. Still wishing you in the squad the best given all the stuff that happened these last few days. But of course, Neptune had a bigger complaint really about the Florida team, that they didn't really have a leader. Like those things were lacking. Neptune feels like he's probably going to get that from the New York subliners, right, in Clayster and Crimsix, plus Hydra still going to be there. We imagine it's going to be that roster. But Florida do go on to confirm what they are going to be up to. Dave Paddy joining the team, definitely a name that's been around the challenger scene for the last couple of years. But it's a really interesting decision they're making here with their roster. It's far from a spectacular one. Let's just put it out straight up like that, because they're keeping together the core three without Neptune. So I can't really see how this is ever going to be an upgrade. Like I don't know how that's even possible. What they're going for, I suppose, is that Skies and Awakening, they didn't really work as an AR duo this last season. Let's put Waker on a sub and we'll hope that works, because we don't want to pay any money for an actual big name talent. Probably like the guys who are working on this, like the coaching staff, maybe Yoga too, in terms of being the general manager there. Maybe they don't have all that much money to work with, so this is the best option they could come up with. But certainly since the start of the CDL, every single team that I've seen since the start of the league, like someone, every single announcement of a roster, like there's always been some talk about, okay, that's an interesting team, like maybe they have some potential there. Like the backlash against this Mutineers team is probably the biggest I've seen. Like everyone seems to be saying, yeah, this is a trash roster, it's gonna be right at the bottom tier, which is interesting to hear about, because there's certainly some talent here, but I'm inclined to agree, right? All the other rosters have upgraded, and this team has managed to take Neptune and swap him out for Dave Paddy, and now Awakening's going to an SMG alongside Havoc. It's like I just don't see how this is a recipe for success. I also don't see how that Yeez, who is their substitute, going to be on this team, which kind of surprised me when we were talking about this roster being rumored. I was kind of like hinting, because I kind of thought that Yeez would be starting, because it makes sense to me to have Yeez on the SMG alongside Havoc or something, because he's kind of that up and coming player. But Dave Paddy was being rumored, and I was like, how is that going to work? Is Awakening going to go to an SMG? It seems like that is the case, but look, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'd be surprised, let's just say, if it gets to Major 3 or Stage 3 and Yeez isn't already in the team, or they haven't at least tried something, because I just can't see how this is going to be particularly successful compared to some of the other rosters. So this is what they're going for. Willits now their head coach. We saw Ricky Atura move on, but yeah, they're keeping together this core three of Sky. Skies is a great player, don't get me wrong. Awakening, we've had a fair bit of talk about him the last few days, what pro players have to say about about him maybe falling off to some degree. Havoc is a solid player, but he's never going to do anything spectacular in the SMG role. You need like a dominant force in your other SMG position, like a Neptune really, and even with Neptune they weren't getting results, but instead you've got Awakening and Dave Paddy, who I'm pretty sure might even be the main on this team. I'm not sure, like, he definitely runs an AR. I don't know whether they're going to go for Dave Paddy on the main, or whether they're going to go for Skies on the main, or Skies is going to run the flex. It's very unclear, but it's like, this roster doesn't really make any sense in the sense that, like, I mean, Ogre2 is talking about excited to read more from the Twitter GMs, but the criticism of this team is totally understandable, especially when it's like, okay, if there's a 3 AR meta, then yeah, this team's set, right? Awakening, you know, Skies and Dave Paddy, and Havoc on the SMG, but I just can't see a world in which that's ever going to be the case. Wake is going to have to be nasty on an SMG, which, to be fair, with the MP5 in Modern Warfare, he was very good indeed, but I felt like he was at his best when he kind of had both weapons in hand. He was kind of flexing a little bit, and I thought that's kind of where he was this past year, but they've decided, no, we're going to keep Awakening, we're going to keep Skies, we're going to bring in Dave Paddy, and we're going to try and make that work. I just can't see how this team is lasting the test of time. It's, you know, pretty much every other team we've seen announced, even the LAG teams have passed, like even last year's LAG team, that everyone was saying was kind of probably going to be pretty bad. Like, at least there was some optimism, right? 4v4, like World War II type game, like bringing back that old trio that won the World Championship on that title. There was at least some optimism. This time it's like this team has kind of already failed last year, and we're going again with a very similar roster construction, this time with Awakening on an SMG, which if anything is going to make them even worse. So very confusing, to be honest. Yeez does confirm right here, he's a free agent main sub for Challenger, so he is going to be in the Challenger side, and I mean, as well it says right here, things didn't always go away. We took a lot from it, so looking to improve. So very interesting stuff. Definitely a lot of thoughts on that in the comment section below. As Awakening says right here, SMG weight grab back in September, so apparently this is what they've been planning here for quite a while now. Now, they wanted to talk about this as well then from OpTic Chicago. They came out yesterday with a $100,000 WarZone Invitational this Friday, and well, there was initially some talk that Scump had kind of said on his stream that the only people allowed to play in this are going to be, you know, OpTic players, but it turns out like it's an invitational type thing, so other players are getting invited to it, and well, one of those players that gets invited, interestingly enough, is Shotzzy. Methods comes in the reply here and says, you know, I'd like to spot, I'd like to play in this, can you give me an invite as well, please? But well, as I say, one of the players that is certainly in it is going to be Shotzzy. Need 2 for the OpTic 100k Warzone tourney on the 8th. Let me know with one of these kind of smiley faces right here. Scump and Dashy could be a pretty decent duo if they are down to team. But well, we get this reply from Crone. He says OpTic Shotzzy confirmed, and Shotzzy actually replies to it right with the flushed emoji, so it's kind of similar really to what we saw with Dashy the other day, where there was kind of some replies saying like, you know, confirm OpTic Dallas, and he was saying, you know, I can't really do that right now, and Shotzzy saying this as well. Like, it's just the fact that they're even replying to this is kind of interesting, and yeah, definitely hinting that it may indeed well be the case, right? So okay, OpTic Shotzzy probably just around the corner, especially if they're inviting him to play in this tourney with the few other players really that are getting invited from outside, well, outside OpTic it seems right now, at least players that are relatively close to them. We did get this actually from Tyler Fellow, so it seems like well, they need 2 to Fellow and Shotzzy. Fellow, of course, was the substitute last year. He actually did come into the starting team for a time last year on the Dallas Empire. So of course, a duo that, well, they played a little bit in the past. They're going to need 1 for this Warzone tourney to play in this Friday, just I imagine beginning tomorrow. This is also very interesting that Shreyas points out to me. Truly, the internet detectives in Call of Duty remain undefeated. Dallas come out and say, you know, happy National Coaches Day to the coach, Rambo Ray. You can see him right here, like analysing and, you know, talking to Shotzzy and Ellie. Of course, that may well be on the, well, they're still going to be on the Dallas team for next year. But Dashy's mother on Twitter turns out to actually like this tweet. And I looked into, I mean, internet detectives undefeated. But as you can see, she doesn't like an awful lot of tweets. She liked this one from OpTic and this one from Formal back in September. But also, interestingly, this one, giving credit to Rambo Ray. So maybe an indication, right, that Rambo, Empire, Dallas, like it's all coming together and Dashy's going to be joining that team. You could certainly look at it from that angle. This also, right, so Scump yesterday did a video kind of reacting to OpTic's best moments of all time from all the way back in the day, like from Black Ops 1 through to, of course, their World Championship win and stuff like that. And I'll just share this clip real quick that Macklemore pointed out that, well, is from when he's talking about Rambo Ray, or at least talking about way back in the day, describes Ray as his godfather, right? And we talked about that, you know, Scump and Rambo go way back in OpTic history, and, you know, definitely would make sense that they could potentially duo up now as a player and coach kind of relationship that, well, they used to not have back in the day.
Yo. Dude, it's so crazy looking back at this stuff. Look at Ray. That's my godfather right there, folks, for anyone that didn't know. Rambo Ray.
So I'm very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. OpTic Dallas potentially just around the corner. There's been rumours that, I mean, there was talk about it coming out on the 8th, which of course is tomorrow. I kind of doubt it's going to happen though alongside that Warzone tourney. I'm pretty sure Ben J. Naseem was saying on the fact that he kind of heard it was going to be end of this month sometime. So maybe that's something to look for. But also the Florida Mutineers, right? How's their roster going to do? It's tough to predict they're going to be particularly good, to be honest, with what we've seen so far. And some of the other rosters significantly upgrading. Like, where do you guys think they're going to place over the entirety of the year? Some people say saying they're easily top 12, which I guess is fair enough. I think, like, honestly, like, if they place top 8, like, consistently, like, that's honestly been a success for this team. So that's how I think about it. Not exactly ideal, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset the YouTube bucket. I know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
He does have a couple of plays front of the park though, finds Shotzzy, and now it comes all down to Illy. Still in that green position. Already on the defuse. Oh!
Illy!
Illy!
What's that? What was that? To get the player off the defuse, did he kill him with a pistol too?
He did! He did! He What? I just thought how great that round was from Surge. Everything was going